Hi, my name is Tarek, and today we will discuss about arrays and list data structure. What are arrays and how do we use them? In programming, we have two types of values, single values or multiple values. To hold single values, we use variables. Let's say if I want to store a name, I can say a string name equals jack. So the jack will be stored in the variable name. to if I want to store two names, let's say Jack and Joseph, for that I'll have to use an object which is called an array. How array works? Array works on the basis of indexes. Let me show you second slide. Here you can see we have an array of fruits. The data stored in the array are apple, grapes, banana, pineapple and strawberry. The size of an array is 5 because there are 5 elements, and these elements can be accessed through their indexes. Index number starts from 0. Let's start some coding and let me show you how the array works in programming. I'm using NetBeans uh, for my coding, and let's start an Java application. Call it ds, and now this is the default structure that this IDE gives me. Mm, I will not go in the details of the how the Java works, what are the packages. I hope you know all about this. What are access specifiers? I'll just focus on data structures and their implementation. So let me com dot data structure. The naming convention should be the data structure. I have a package. Let me create a class, a simple Java class, and called array class. Now, what are the variables? I hope you know about variables very well, and you also know about the arrays. But I'm just refreshing how it would work. So let me declare a variable. String name equals Jack. If I want to store multiple names, how would I do that? For that, I'll have to create an array. Let me create an array of type string. String and call it, let's say, names equals new string. And I'll have to supply its size. All the arrays are defined with size, and this is the fixed size. If I define 10 here, then this array whose name is names will only contain 10 elements. The type of the element that this array will hold is a string. How would I enter values, or how would I insert values in this array? To do that, let me define a method. I hope I'm assuming that you know all the fundamental of the programming, all the fundamentals of the Java programming. If you are coding in Java, that what public is, what return types are, and what the signatures of methods can be. So I hope you know all this. So let me uh, define a method here. Public void and I'll call it array method. Now I want to insert some names in the array. So I'll say names, and on index 0 insert Jack. Names on index 1 insert name. Names on index 2 insert Rahul, right? And to display the names, what I'll do, let me rename this method and insert. Actually, the name of the method is more appropriate now. Public void, and I'll say display array. The display array method will display all the contents of the array. So I'll make a loop on this array. I'll say string name names, and I'll say system.out and name. Now let me define a public a main method here. Public static void main, and let me create an object. I hope you know what an object is and how to create it, and how to use it. And I will say first insert. I'm calling this method insert first. My class is equals to my class, and now let me call AC dot insert. This method will insert these three names into this array, and then I'll call insert dot display array to display the elements. And let me run this. Save this and let me run this. So as you can see, we have these three names now: Jack, Ali, and Rahul. But what are these null values? If you look at the code, we have defined an array of size 10, and we have inserted only three names. At 0 we have inserted Jack, at 1 we have inserted Rahul, and at index number 2 we have inserted index number 1 we have inserted Ali, and at index number 2 we have inserted Rahul. So the remaining 7 indexes are blank. So that's why it's printing null, because when we initialize a string array, all the values of that array are null.